don't know about you guys, but I personally am really fascinated by lawyer films and series, like you maybe already saw in my podcasts for Suits. And today we are gonna talk about one of the most amazing lawyer films ever. It's a film with Tom Cruise from 1992. But first, this is not universal. After about a year in English again, and today we're gonna talk about A Few Good Men. And my name is Finn. Okay, let's get to A Few Good Men. In my opinion, that's one of the most cult oldies with Tom Cruise. And yeah, I really liked watching the movie. And I would recommend it for anybody. Tom Cruise acting is really on point, and he has a really good chemistry with Demi Moore and Kevin Pollak. And overall, it's a really good film that works with even old equipment and the old stuff, because the acting is so freaking good. I mean, it's not amazing. It can't be amazing if you have films from the last years, but overall, it's pretty good, in my opinion. So I'm gonna give it 8 to 8.5 out of 10 stars, maybe 8.5. And now I'm gonna introduce the plot. So if you want to watch the movie, watch it and turn back in. I think, at least in Germany, it's in Netflix, and I think in America too. I hope you like watching the movie, but if you don't want to watch it, just stick on and let me tell you the plot. The movie begins with on Guantanamo Bay Naval Base in Cuba, where Private William Santiago, a United States Marine, gets tied up and beaten up in the middle of the night, and after that he's found dead. And Lance Corporal Harold Dawson and Private First Class Lawton Downey, accused of his murder, and are facing a court-martial, and assigned to them is the United States Jack Corps Lieutenant Daniel Kaffey, lawyer with a penchant for plea bargains. That means he likes to just resolve disputes before it even goes to court. And another Jack attorney, played by Demi Moore, the Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway, is Kaffey's superior, and suspects something is amiss in this whole thing, because Santiago died after he broke the chain of command and asked to be transferred away. Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Mackinson advocated for Santiago to be transferred away, but base commander Colonel Nathan Jessup ordered Santiago's platoon commander Lieutenant Jonathan James Kendrick to train Santiago on the bases. They are all for Santiago, that he's basically supposed to give him a code red and get other soldiers to beat him up. Galloway suspects that Dawson Downey carried out a code red. That is a violent extrajudicial punishment that is, at least in the film, I don't know if it's like that in real life. If any Marines are listening, you can comment that on Spotify or on my social media platforms. Links are in the podcast description. But Galloway suspects that Dawson and Donnie ordered these code red, and she's bothered by Caffey's place approach, and Caffey resents her interference with the whole thing. And Caffey and Galloway question Jessup and the others at Guantanamo Bay and are met with contempt from the colonel. When Caffey negotiates the plea bargain with the prosecutor, U.S. Marine Judge Advocate Captain Jack Ross, Jack Ross is amazingly played by Kevin Bacon, the plea bargain is a little bit hard, and Dawson and Donnie refuse, insisting Kendrick gave them the order for the code red. Kendrick is the commander of the unit, and that they never intended to kill Santiago, and that it would be dishonorable to pursue this plea bargain or any plea bargain that admits the guilt. And Caffey, after that, intends to get removed as counsel, but at the arraignment, Caffey unexpectedly enters a plea of not guilty for the defendant, and he says that he was chosen to handle the case because he was expected to make a plea bargain and the matter would be kept quiet, mostly because Lieutenant Jessup, Colonel Jessup, sorry, I always get those ranks, is basically waits for a big promotion. And Mackensen meets Mackensen, that's one of the commanders, Jessup's second in command, meets Caffey in secret and says that Jessup never ordered transfer for Santiago like he said, and ordered the code red that, like Dawson and Donnie said he did. And after that, the defense managed to establish that Dawson had been denied promotion for smuggling food to a Marine who had been sentenced to deprived of food. And Dawson is portrayed in a good light, and the defense, with the help of Donnie, proves that code reds had been ordered before. But on a cross-examination, Donnie says that he was not present when Dawson received the code red, or supposedly the code red, and Mackensen ashamed that he failed to protect the Marine under his command and unwilling to testify against Jessup because of his code of honor. Commits suicide before he can testify. And without Mackensen's testimony, Caffey believes that the whole case is lost, and returns home really drunk, lamenting that he had fought a case instead of taking a deal, which, he thinks at this time is wrong. And Galloway encourages Caffey to call up Jessup as the witness, despite the risk of being court-martialed for challenging a high-ranking officer without evidence. And at the Washington Navy Yard court, Jessup spares Caffey with questioning, but is unnerved when Caffey points out a contradiction in his testimony. Caffey also calls into question Jessup's claim that Santiago was to be put on the first flight home. Upon further questioning and disgusted by Caffey's attitude, Jessup extols the military and his own importance to national security, and Caffey asks him if Jessup ordered the code red, which is one of the best acted dramatic scenes in film history, in my opinion. And he says that or Jessup, enraged, admits that he ordered the code red and is arrested when he tries to leave the courtroom. And Dawson and Donnie are cleared of the murder and conspiracy charges, but found guilty of conduct unbecoming and are dishonorably discharged. Downey does not understand what they did wrong, but Dawson says he failed to defend those who are too weak to fight for themselves, even if it's one of the comrades, or one of the fellow Marines. And Kaffee tells Dawson that it's not necessary to wear a patch on one's arm to have honors, to encourage them. Dawson acknowledges Kaffee as an officer and renders a salute, and Kaffee and Ross exchange pleasantries before Ross departs to arrest Kendrick. And that's one of the, in my opinion, best law dramas in film history with Tom Cruise. And if you haven't watched this, this is definitely a recommendation of mine. If you have any other podcast suggestions or tips, leave me a comment on Twitter, Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. And or send me a voice message, all in the link in the podcast description. And if you'd like to, just follow me on Spotify. And I hope you liked my podcast today, and you will visit me again next week. I'm gonna try to keep on doing my episodes in German and English and translating the episodes I already did. But with 220 episodes, that's a hell of a lot of work. But I hope you're gonna stay tuned anyway, and I hope I see you in the next episode. Have a nice day, and see you next week.